Okay. All right, sorry about that. So I always start my workshops and my consultations with ringing of the bells, because when we ring bells, we actually clear the energy of the space. It gives us the opening to relieve the chatter in our minds, which we all have constant, right? All day long. And this process of ringing the bells, it creates like this new opening, this new clear space. So if you'd like to participate, just put your feet flat on the floor for a few moments. Sit straight. And close your eyes and listen as I ring the bell 3 times. And the most important part of this is to breathe. To actually take this opportunity to allow yourself to breathe in, and then as you breathe out, when you hear the bell, just allow any of that chatter to disappear. Just let it exit your body. Thank you so much for participating in that. And before we start today's class, I would like a volunteer to come up. Do I have a volunteer? Come right up. Thank you for being brave. Okay, what is your name? Tiffany. Hi, thank you, Tiffany. All right, so just stand, let's see, stand back there. And I'm going to just do a little demonstration, and I will give an explanation of it in just a moment. Okay, so these are called dowsing rods, and they're harmless. What I was doing was asking for the edge of Tiffany's energy field, or aura. We've probably heard those terms. They're like these weird new age terms, but really they're terms that describe how our energy is around our bodies, because when we interact with people, we're connecting with their energy, right? If we're standing next to somebody, we don't even have to be that close. We could be this far away, and we're definitely interacting and connecting. So, so this was the edge of her energy field. This is that bubble around her body. Okay, now, one more time. We'll do this again, but now think of something really fun and fabulous, or something that you love. Let me know when you're ready.
I'm ready.
You're ready? All right. Wow. Okay, did you see how it grew?
Yeah.
Right? It was back, it was here, and now it's here. Why do you think that happened?
She extended the energy.
I'm sorry?
She extended the positive energy.
Yeah, well, it's because when we are thinking of something joyful and positive, it's just like bursting out of us. Our energy field expands. So thank you, Tiffany. And that will be for every single one in this room. When we think positive thoughts, our energy expands. And just think about all those people that you can connect with that positive energy. You're influencing them with your energy. So today's class is about Feng Shui, but it's all about energy. All about energy. So what is Feng Shui? Feng Shui really is about acknowledging the fact that energy flows everywhere, and everything in the universe is made up of energy. And we're impacted by that energy for good or bad. So we want places to be positive energy. Feng Shui is really a way of life, actually. It's not just the art of placement, which you may have heard. And there's a really wonderful Taoist proverb that says, living in harmony with the earth brings good fortune. I think that proverb says everything about what Feng Shui is. Can you see this? Yes. Okay, great. So good fortune. What do you think about when you hear the words good fortune?
Money.
Money, right? Everybody thinks about money. We think of money and material wealth, right? But the ancient people thought about joy and well-being and contentment in their life. And it was really connected with the health of body, mind, and spirit. And did you know that probably every culture in the ancient world had their own form of Feng Shui? We have the Chinese created Feng Shui thousands of years ago. In the Indian culture, they developed what's called Vastu, which you may have heard about, and it has similarities to Feng Shui. But really, every culture probably in the world had it. And the reason is because Feng Shui was a set of kind of criteria to help determine where was the best place to live. It really was looking at the geology of the land, the form of the hills and the valleys and the plains. It was about abundant water. It was about orientation to the sun. It was about the winds. And we wanted to live in places that had the best of those criteria to live in. And now Feng Shui has really helped us because we don't all live in the best possible land, right? I mean, we have building everywhere. Homes are being built everywhere. And we have this wonderful, abundant set of tools that help us make the best of where we're living. So that is what you're going to hopefully learn today. And my goal here is that you can learn a little bit about what Feng Shui is, but also bring a couple of tips home and incorporate them into your space so that you can feel the positive energy that it will bring in your life. Now, living in harmony with the earth. How many of you feel that we are, in today's world, living in harmony with the earth? No. We are so far from that, right? Think about it. I mean, it was only probably 100, 150 years ago that our houses were made with natural materials. And everything in our homes was made of natural materials. And now, hardly anything is made of natural materials. And what natural materials there are is covered up with a varnish of chemicals, right? Our wood floors, our granite countertops, everything has it sealed. So we have such little connection to nature. Plus, we spend 90% of our time inside. Isn't that like astonishing to think about it? We don't know this, but to actually think about that number, and some of us even more than 90% of our time inside. So our lifestyles have changed so much. It's just really incredible. And research has shown that this is having an impact on us in all levels. And it is pretty sad. There's a number of movements going on that you may have heard about that is addressing this fact. How many of you heard of Richard Louv and his movement, the Children and Nature Network? Nature deficit disorder? Okay. You're all educators. If you have any interest in this type of work, I highly recommend you read a book called The Last Child in the Woods. Just the name alone propelled me to get it from the library. It's an amazing book, The Last Child in the Woods. And I actually saw the author when he came on Long Island, I think it was about 2008, 2009, and did a talk to educators on Long Island about it. So there's that movement, which is getting children out in nature and connecting them to nature. Has anyone heard of forest bathing? It's becoming, it's kind of like this little fringe thing where you actually take a walk in the woods and it makes you feel good, right? I mean, isn't that crazy? They put a name to something that we all did as kids, right? Taking a walk in nature, and hopefully we do it now. Taking a walk with our dog, or taking a walk just to enjoy life, taking a walk on the beach. All these things are becoming a movement. I do a lecture at a spa in Pennsylvania, and one of the classes they have is called forest bathing. And you walk around the trails with the guide that helps you connect to nature. It's just incredible that we have to do this now, but that's where we are. And there's also something, because that's all about bringing us outside more, which we absolutely need, but something else is really, really required to help us really connect to nature in a meaningful way. And that is bringing nature inside. And there's a new emerging movement called biophilic design. It sounds a little bit like an illness, biophilic, but it is something that is essentially Feng Shui. And because I practice Feng Shui and I learned about biophilic design about 10 years ago, I was like, yeah, absolutely. People are starting to understand this. Now let me ask you, does anyone notice anything different in hospitals, in the decor of hospitals in the last maybe 10 years?
Colors.
What kind of colors?
More like a subtle, like, yeah.
Right, instead of white. Anything else?
Furniture, actually natural looking furniture.
Natural looking furniture and made of maybe wood, right? Oh my gosh. Groundbreaking. Anything else? I think somebody mentioned it. Pictures. Pictures of what? Nature, yeah. In fact, I think that if you walked in any hospital, you're going to see warm nature colors like beautiful greens and beiges instead of those white walls. You're going to see photographs or artwork, all of nature. Why is that?
It's calming.
Yes, we know this. But for so long, we didn't realize it. And research is showing that when we connect to nature inside, it calms anxiety, stress, lowers our blood pressure, allows us to handle challenging situations better. So where else do we need this? Offices? Yes. Well, okay, thank you for bringing that up. Google's new headquarters, Apple's new headquarters are all built with biophilic design. Because research has shown that it improves employee morale, it decreases sick days, it decreases turnover, which is a huge dollar on their budget, and it increases productivity and creativity. So who wouldn't want that, right, in their corporate office? Healthcare, hospitals, corporate office spaces. What's next? Schools and classrooms, right? Some schools have been built with biophilic design, but those are schools that are like being built from the ground up and have a lot of money. I don't know, private schools probably, but we're getting there. And there's a lot of things that you can do in your classroom, and we're going to get to that at the end. But we're going to talk about your home too, because where do we spend most of our time? Home. So let's make our homes the sanctuary it should be. How many people have a sanctuary in their home? How many people feel like it's sanctuary? Some of you might. No? Probably feels a little stressful, chaotic. Unfortunately, that's what happens, right? So Feng Shui is actually the ancient idea that is now being talked about as biophilic design. And I am going to predict that you're going to start hearing about those words biophilic design in the next few years. It's taking a few decades because it's been around for about 2 decades. And I only found it about 10 years ago. But I have a book and I'm covering it. This is bad Feng Shui. My book is coming out in May, And you all have postcards on your table. I'm really excited about it. And this is the first time biophilic design is being talked about to consumers, which is all of us, right? It's not architects and designers, which is where it was. So really, really cool. And Feng Shui is a great way to connect to nature in our indoor spaces. We're just kind of coming around to all the ideas that the ancient people had, right? Meditation. Did anyone do meditation today? I think I saw one of the workshops.
I think it's going on right now.
Oh, wow. Well, I'm sorry. Well, thank you for coming here. But meditation, so cool. And in fact, I have a little bowl that I thought, you know how we did our little meditation in the beginning? That was a meditation, believe it or not, listening to the bells. But how about something like this in your classrooms? And maybe you could pick one child a day to do it in the morning. Every child will stop what they're doing when they hear that. And it's really funny because I can be in a room of really boisterous adults, and maybe not that one because it's a little low, but I take these out, everybody stops. So that might be a really nice thing to add. And I think on the bottom here, because sounds are connected to the different, has anyone heard the word chakras or chakras? The root chakra is our base chakra. That's what makes us feel grounded and connected to the earth. It also is the one for safety and security. So if you have any children in your classroom that really needs to feel safe and secure, get a bowl with the root chakra sound. That will really be wonderful. Really help. So we're going to go over some Feng Shui principles. Everyone has heard the word Qi. We're going to talk a little bit about it. We're going to show a little bit about what is good flow of Qi and what is not so good. We're going to talk about balancing yin and yang, or yang. There's different pronunciations. My daughter just graduated with her master's in acupuncture. And acupuncture is the same system as Feng Shui. They come from the same philosophy. All of these things are part of acupuncture. So when I was saying yang, my daughter went, she kept correcting me, Mom, it's yang. I'm like, okay, yang. We're going to talk about connecting with nature, with the 5 elements, which is what my book is about. It's so cool. I think you're going to love it. And then we're going to talk about placement of the Bagua map, which you have in your handout there. So, love this picture. This is actually a friend's farm up in British Columbia. Awareness of the flow of Qi is where we start. We have to acknowledge that there's this energy, and everything in our spaces has energy, and it's flowing. And energy flows like a river. So when we think about energy as a river, then we kind of get a visual on it, right? It's not just this intangible thing, it's like a river. And just like we looked at Tiffany's energy field, we got a visual. And when we get a visual, it really helps kind of set our minds to what we're doing. So it is really, really cool. So think about the energy flowing like a river. So this is a floor plan, a simple house. So just imagine, energy flows into your house through the front door. And that's really an important concept. Who uses their front door every day? Not a lot of you. Okay, so the rest of you use probably the side door. That's where the driveway is, right? Right? Okay, and that's the way our houses are built in the suburbs, so that you don't use your front door. Sounds like a conspiracy, huh? Well, I just suggest that you use your front door several times a week at least. Maybe it's to get the mail, maybe it's to walk the dog. The thing is that your main flow of opportunity, your front door connects you to the world. If you never open it, you're blocking out opportunity. Not that you don't get some through your side door, But your primary front door, the front door that the architect said this is the front door, that is where predominant amount of energy goes into your home. And you're missing out on opportunities, lots of them, if you don't use it. So please try to use it like 5 times a week at least.
Sorry, what lost me there?
Sure.
It sounded a little weird. What do you mean?
The connection to the front.
Okay, but what, I mean, just energy in general?
Okay, so everything has energy in the universe. Everything, and quantum physics proves this. So our front door is our portal, our opening for energy, which translates to opportunities in every area of our life to enter. It's not really visible. It's just the flow of energy. And when we keep a front door closed all the time, I know it sounds a little
I
odd.
understand what you're saying, but I mean, what's just physical? You're saying it's like an electric energy, like some kind of,
Yeah,
you know, but why isn't it, if we come through the side door, why isn't that's considered a door? Does it matter? Why does it matter that it's the front?
because it's the portal that was designed when the house was built,
Right?
or the home was built, to be the front door. So it sets that. It's all about intention. The stuff that we talk about here in Feng Shui, a lot of it is the intention. And the intention for your home was that this was the main flow into your home of people. But everything else is connected with that.
I mean,
So, mhm.
sorry, I've always known that, but then when I go home, like I press the garage door, so I have
Oh.
to go to the side door, so I've never gone through my front door.
Yes,
Right,
yes.
so I'm missing everything.
You're limiting your opportunities. I wouldn't say that nothing, because
So if I start-
every window and door is a portal, but your front door is the main one.
In the same sense, can energy flow out then, or no?
It circulates.
So you're saying the karma and when, like as far as opportunities, jobs and stuff?
Everything, yes.
I know
Yes.
I've heard this, but it just sounds.
Yes, I know. You have to kind of suspend a little bit of our kind of logical thinking, because this comes from a non-logical place. Some of it comes from very logical stuff. But let me tell you this, your front door is the #1 most important space in your home. So what you see when you enter is setting the tone for how you feel. So it's also the door you use most of the time. So look at both of those doors, really, really important. So if you're using, say, a garage door, and it's opening onto the mud room, which has a great name, mud room, or like laundry area, and there's piles of laundry there, what are you gonna feel? And this may not be conscious, it's subconscious. But every time you walk in, you're gonna see that load of laundry that has to be done, and your energy just goes,
But mine is clean.
awesome! That's exactly,
Yeah, actually it is bright.
that's exactly how it should be,
Yeah,
yes.
it is bright and cheery, because I've always kind of known about the Feng Shui, and I've always wondered about the front door, but I was too lazy after I to go back outside
Yes.
to go open the front door.
Yes, and I'll admit, I get Feng Shui challenges myself, and I have a side door that's easy, and I use that all the time. But I use the front door to get the mail, I try to use the front door to walk the dog, and there's other people in my house that always use the front door. So the front door is opening a lot. But I actually had a client once who, when I went to her house, I said, okay, now I came through the side door because that's where she told me to go. So I'm like, okay, now I want to walk out front and I want to walk in your door. The door's locked. Okay, I don't know where the key is. Years. It hadn't been opened in years. She needed a key to open it from the inside. Like, it was one of those, and I went, oh my gosh. And on top of it, she was a realtor. So I just was like, oh my gosh, we gotta open the front door.
I got lucky. My girlfriend's mother, when she had her house built, she had the house faced this way. She had it turned around, so her back door was in the front, and the front door was in the back.
Oh.
Because she didn't want anybody coming through her living room.
Oh, okay. Well, that sounds like a challenge.
Yeah, that's crazy.
A challenge. I have seen some amazingly crazy floor plans. But so this is how chi kind of flows through a building in the most positive way. And it's just, here's just a couple of pictures. You can see the curve of the sidewalk going in and rounded landscapes. And of course, it's just welcoming. Because again, suspending a little bit of the skeptical belief, chi is like an invited guest. So imagine chi is a person that you want to impress, that you know can get you connected in your work, in your romance, in your health, in finances, whatever it is you're looking for. You want them to come up to your front door and feel good and feel like, ah, what a beautiful place. So having clutter around there will really drag the energy down. And then this foyer, of course, this is a really grand foyer, but look at the curve of the stairs. There's a round rug, round table, just a lot of softness. We're going to talk about yin and yang in a bit. So this, actually, these pictures show a nice balance of yin and yang. But, so chi loves curves, not straight. I love this cartoon. Holly's House of Feng Shui. And look at where the desk is. Just think that's precious. That's blocking opportunity, right? In a very literal sense. We do that sometimes. Of course, not as obvious of that, like that. So here, there's two different floor plans here. I just wanted to share this with you. So in this particular floor plan, in this house, this is the porch, and you walk through the front door, and what do you see right in front of you? A wall. Okay, we call that a blocking wall. And so every time you enter, you're confronted with a wall, and you have to turn. That energy constantly gets stopped. It creates obstacles in all areas of your life. On a subconscious level, you feel like there's always an obstacle. You can't get forward. You're always struggling when you have that type of floor plan. We're going to talk about how to fix it, though. Anyone have this? Okay. Ooh, we got some feng shui knowledge people here. Okay, this is the other end of the spectrum. So we've got chi that's being blocked, and here, what do we have?
It's right out the back door.
Comes right in and out the back door, right? So in this situation, we've got what we call rushing chi. The chi comes in, so you get opportunities coming in, but they go right out. So there's very simple things you can do. So when you have that blocking wall, if you have the space, we never want to put something in our space that's going to create more of a challenge with, walking around. But if there's enough room for a nice little table, slim table, a mirror above, or piece of artwork, just something pretty, so that when you walk in, you see something pretty. And the most important thing is that you really like it, that you really love it. Because whatever we see when we enter our homes, it should what? Not bring us down, it should lift our spirits. And a piece of artwork that has depth to it, like some kind of nice landscape, whatever it is, again, it could be the ocean, it could be mountains, it could be a farm, a vineyard, whatever it is that you love. And I always tell my clients, just go to Home Goods, have fun looking around. They've got such great variety there of artwork, and very reasonable, right? Okay, so for this situation, does anyone have this? Okay, so this is common too. The front door and the back door are directly in alignment, or you could have like a really big window. Doesn't have to be a door, it could be a big window. and have the same problem, something that's going to slow Qi down would be like a runner with patterns in it. If you can do that, if you can't really put a runner there, it just wouldn't work because some spaces it just wouldn't. A very simple cure is a Feng Shui crystal, which I'll show you at the end what that is. Okay, you would hang it on the ceiling between the front and the back door. Just a Feng Shui crystal can really, really change the energy. Any questions on that? Okay. Balancing of yin and yang. So yin and yang are pairs. They're complementary opposites. And they are all relative to one another. So you can't know what dark is unless you know what light is. Right? You can't know what soft is unless you have hard. And nothing is really yin or yang because you're always needing to compare it to something. You need two things, at least two things, to say, okay, this is more yin, this is more yang. Okay, just gonna throw one out there, very simple. You have a carpeted rug, a carpeted floor, and a wood floor. Which is more yin? The wood. I'm sorry, more yin is the carpet. Sorry, because it's soft.
Softer.
It's softer,
Oh, yeah.
right. Soft surfaces, it's softer. So the wood floor is louder, it's more yang, because it's hard, all right? But what happens now, you've got the wood floor, which we said was yang, but now we've got a ceramic tile floor. Which one's yin and yang?
The wood is yin.
Right, the wood would
is
be more
softer.
yin. It's definitely softer than the ceramic tile, which is, you know, reflective and it's even louder, right, when you walk on it. So it's interesting, you know, nothing is really yin or yang. But these are just some comparisons.
But it's all relative.
I'm sorry?
It's all relative.
It's all relative to one another, right? So yin is the feminine principle. It is receptive. It's you know, receiving energy. The yang, which is the white, is the masculine, and it's the creative and the active principle. Not to say that males and females are these two opposites. We all know that we have masculine and feminine, all of us within. Just to give you a little information about the symbol, because this symbol is so common, right? You see it everywhere. Just to give you a little knowledge about it. This S kind of curve through it